I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what to say. I don't even know how to begin to say thank you. I got a silver play button in the mail this weekend from YouTube, commemorating that there are over 100,000 of you here in our community now. I can't even like wrap my mind around that number, or I don't even know what to say. You have made me speechless for the first time. And I've told you guys before that I try not to read the comments a lot because I want to just focus on teaching and sharing my heart and not kind of let all of the noise influence that. But my team sat me down last week and asked me to read your comments. And they told me that they wanted me to put away my fear and to see what you're actually saying. And I sat and I cried. I'm going to cry telling you this. I am so grateful that my story and all that I went through with Lyme disease and autoimmune disease and all of those painful years of infertility and losses and like things that to me felt so hopeless. And those are the very things, the stories that I've shared that you guys say have encouraged you and inspired you, and for some of you, introduced you to Jesus for the first time. And honestly, like, I could go home and quit right now because that's my goal. My goal is to show up here and bring you hope. For a lot of years, I lived without a lot of hope. I had hope in Jesus. I knew Him. I had eternal hope. But I didn't have a lot of day-to-day hope because I lived in chronic pain. And if you're still in that, you get it. But through herbs and through Jesus and the way that He put the information right in front of me at the perfect moment, my life changed. And I have just spent the last little bit reflecting on how much my life has changed, and it's continuing to change because of you. And I felt like we needed to stop. We needed to just pause the lessons for a minute and say thank you. I want to thank you for showing up every week, for watching, for engaging and sending me emails and messages, and you'll just never know. You'll never know what it's meant to me to turn my pain into purpose to encourage you. And so I just want to say thank you before we go any further in today's video. And I also want to take some time today and I want to answer your questions. So as I read through the comments that my team handed me, there were some questions that I saw over and over again. And so today we're going to make a cup of tea together like we always do. I have a new one for you today. And after we make our tea, we're going to sit down and drink it together, and I'm going to answer your questions. So let's head inside and make our tea and sit down for a little conversation. For our cup of tea today, I want to enjoy a brand new blend that we've added to our shop. I call this one Daily Bouquet because it was actually inspired by a bouquet of flowers. And I'll show you here what the bouquet looked like. This bouquet is made of medicinal flowers, meaning everything in this blend has a benefit to the body, but it's also just really, really beautiful. So this one is really simple. There's only 3 ingredients and it's equal parts of each of the 3. We have calendula flowers, butterfly pea flowers, and chamomile. So we've learned a bit about each of those 3, but just to refresh you, calendula is so wonderful for inflammation. It's deeply soothing and it will soothe pain from the inside out. Not medical advice, just telling you what works for me. Chamomile is deeply calming. So first we're soothing inflammation with the calendula, then the chamomile is coming in and bringing some calm. And then the butterfly pea flower brings us a shot of antioxidants, and it also brings all kinds of anti-aging benefits for the skin. And I have just been pretty obsessed with butterfly pea flower lately. It also has a lot of anti-anxiety benefits, and I tend to be a little bit of a nervous person. And so this one really works for me, and I love it. So we call it Daily Bouquet. You can get this one on our website now. It comes in a 2-cup bag, just like this. This is what our bags look like. So you always get 2 cups, no matter what herb you're buying or blend. And we do it that way instead of by weight because every herb weighs differently. So if I send you a bag, a full bag of Tulsi, it's gonna weigh twice as much as a full bag of lemon balm because they're different weighted herbs. But we send you the same amount no matter what you buy. So that's why they're not listed by weight. You get 2 cups, and if you use about a teaspoon per cup, that gives you about 30 cups of tea per bag. So I am gonna make a heavy cup. I'm using my French press, which holds like 3 cups of water. So I'm using a tablespoon scoop. And you guys know I love making my tea in a French press. So we'll just dump it in there. It smells so good. It smells just like that bouquet of flowers. I always wish we had smell-o-vision for this part. It smells so good. Grab a bag of this one if you don't have the ingredients to make it yourself. Better yet, grow these 3 flowers, calendula, chamomile, and butterfly pea. They're beautiful. You can grow them as part of your landscaping, put them in your flower beds. You don't even need a big garden for these 3. And then just dry the flowers and you'll have your own tea. So let's add some hot water and get our tea steeping. And then I'll meet you out on the porch and we'll sit down and we'll have a chat. Okay, let's have tea. Check this out. Just like the regular butterfly pea flower tea, this one is blue. Now it's a little bit of a lighter blue because we also have the chamomile and calendula in there, but you get the same effect with the Daily Bouquet tea like you do with regular butterfly pea flower tea, where if you add lemon or lime juice to this, it's gonna turn kind of a pink or a more violet purple. So it'll go from more blue to purple when you add lemon or lime juice. I just love this one. It's so delicious, but also so beautiful. So I'm gonna try to pour me a cup without ruining my white dress, which is risky business. Let's see if we can do it. Do you see how pretty it is? I can't wait to enjoy this one. I actually have not had a cup of tea yet this morning, and I've been up working for hours at this point. So I'm looking forward to this. It smells so good. Okay, it's real hot, so we're gonna let it cool a minute. While it's cooling, let's dive into some of your questions. So the number one question, or some variation of this question that we see over and over is, where did you study herbs? How did you go to school for herbs? Where do I get certified in herbs? Or basically, where do I learn about this? That's the big question. So I want to tell you up front that I have been through multiple herbal programs. I have gone through 3 levels of Herbal Academy. I have done the Homegrown Herbalist School, the Lost Tools Academy Herbalism Program, and then over a dozen just unique courses from different herbalists, learning from different voices, different styles. I have taken some classes with folk herbalists, and I've also taken classes with clinical herbalists. And I've kind of done that to get a range of training, because here's the thing. There is no certifying agency for herbalism. There is not one certifying board that goes across and says this school is legit, this school is not. So you really have to do your own research. Now, to add another layer of challenge to that, you guys know I'm a Christian and I take my faith very, very seriously. And as I got into studying herbs, I found that a lot of herbal education is very pagan-centric, meaning it is hinged on a worldview that I do not have. And I also encountered a lot of like New Age practices and witchcraft and just things in general that I wanted no part of. And even the programs that claimed to be kind of objective and said they wouldn't have that stuff in them, it was in there. It was just kind of buried, and the deeper you went into the program, eventually it surfaced, and I was so disappointed. So all of that to say, I told you guys a few months ago, I'm working on my own herbalism program for you called Daughters of Eve School of Herbalism. Now, we've gotten lots of questions about this, people wanting to know, when's this coming out? What's this course going to be like? And I need you to know, first of all, it's not a course. This is a full herbalism school. That's why it's taking a bit to create it. This is going to include a massive printed workbook. You're going to have dozens of video lessons. We're going to go deep, not only into, the herbs themselves and the plants and the botanical medicine, but we're going to cover some human anatomy and physiology, understanding how herbs actually impact the body systems. We're going to cover tea blending and herbal preparations, learning about tinctures and infusions and all the different things. And so this is going to be a much deeper dive than what I share here on YouTube. This is going to be for those who are serious about becoming an herbalist for your family or your community. And so our goal is to open Daughters of Eve this fall. I will be sharing more information as we get closer, but just know it is in production and I am very busy creating the curriculum for it right now and filming all of the teaching for it. And I'm getting really excited. I wish I could just go ahead and give it all to you now because we're really deep diving into God's plans for herbs in this school. And I'm just really excited long term about the community that it's going to bring together of people that are doing herbalism a different way. So all that to say, where would I recommend you study herbs? Well, honestly, just hang on and come to Daughters of Eve School of Herbalism this fall. In the meantime, I do have a digital download ebook called The Everyday Herbalist, and it is sort of the gateway to get you started. Very beginner level. It's got a few recipes. It's got a few things to get you going. And that, along with all the videos on my Herbs That Heal playlist, are going to give you a good foundation to go through from now until when we open the school this fall. But stay tuned. That's coming. Let's take a little tea break. Oh, it's good. I just love that butterfly pea flower. So good. Okay, next question. One of the most common ones that we've been getting is, do you have an herb shop that I can visit in person, or do you offer in-person classes? So the answer, to put it simply, is no. We do not have an in-person place where you can shop. However, we are in talks with a couple of stores if you're local to us, and we will keep you posted. But we are hoping by end of summer that we will have some of our teas in stores, at least here in this part of North Carolina. But primarily, you got to get it through our apothecary shop online. Now, that brings us to part 2. We have really rapidly outgrown our ability to make tea in the house. What started out as me and my little wooden bowl making one little bowl of tea for you at a time has turned into 50 to 100 of you needing tea every single day. Now we're keeping up with help from my family. It's become a whole family affair, and it's been really fun because my kids are into it. They're learning herbalism, they're learning to mix. And Josh is really like managing the shop and giving me the space to be creative and build blends and teach you. So it's been a really neat thing, but we're out of space. And so we actually have a pretty big secret we've been keeping, and we are building a brand new herb shop here on the farm. Now, this herb shop won't be open to the public because it's going to be a production herb shop, meaning it's going to be a clean, sanitary room where our staff can pack your teas and I can go in there and create new recipes. And it's also going to have a filming studio where we can sit down and do more tea talks just like this. I'm thinking lots more long conversations about all of these topics that we've sort of just scratched the surface on over the last 6 months. We're going to have a space where we can sit down and really spend some time together and learn. So I'm really excited about that, but that is underway. We are hoping to be in the new tea shop mid-summer. It is here on the farm, which is so fun. My kids will be working there, my young adult kids, and I'm just thrilled. And we want to say thank you for supporting our herb shop. But we do not stay open to the public, and I'm going to be honest about why. A few years ago, I was sharing on Instagram before I came over to YouTube, and we have a pretty large amount of people that follow us on Instagram. I think we're over 680,000 or something now. And a few years ago, right when all of that was sort of exploding and people were finding our page, we had an incident where some folks just showed up. And I'll be honest, it kind of scared me. I have children. I have the children you see. I also have children I do not show you because we as a family have always had a policy that our home is a safe place for kids that need a safe place to go. So there is almost always an extra child floating around that you're never going to see. And because of that, we are real careful about who we let come in person to the farm. And it's nothing against you guys. This is just me being a mama bear and keeping my babies safe. So at this point, while we're still in our parenting era, no, we are not welcoming people onto the farm right now. However, in the future, we do want to do more events, more teaching and speaking, and as those opportunities open up, we will certainly walk through them. But for right now, in this season, I'm being a mama bear and I'm mixing you teas and we're just learning together. So that's kind of the deal on that one. Okay, next question. If you could only have one tea blend, which one would it be? This is one we get often from people who want to order, but they're not sure what to start with. So we have a lot of blends to choose from. I think there's about a dozen of them now, and we release a new one about once a month. I would say overall, like my absolute favorite, if you're only going to get one, is Gentle Cleanse Tea. And Gentle Cleanse Tea is a cleanse for pain and inflammation. It has calendula and hibiscus and chamomile and lemon balm and tulsi. And if you go back to my first video from this year in January, I talk about how to make that one. That one was so helpful for me with stomach issues. I also think it was helpful for clearing acne for one of my kids. And it just really seems to be an all-around good blend to know and to have on hand. And I think it's just an overall feel-better blend. So Gentle Cleanse is the one I would go with. Now, a few honorable mention, I just feel like I need to remind you, I have a Better Sleep blend that is phenomenal and gets great reviews. I personally love it and use it when I'm having a hard time with rest. I have a Cup of Calm blend that is wonderful for anxiety and nervousness. There's a Hormone Harmony blend that's really, really good for PMS symptoms, for menopause symptoms. Just avoid that one if you're pregnant until postpartum. It's great postpartum, but don't take it during pregnancy. And then, of course, we sell our organic herbs as well, so you can make your own blends. And that's what I encourage you to do, is start learning about the herbs and then start building your own blends. That's part of the fun. Okay, next question is, I want to learn about herbs, but I don't know where to start, and I don't have money to invest in a school or a course right now. What do I do? I hear you, friend, because I was you. When I first started with all of this, I was in the same boat. I knew that herbs worked because I was taking supplements from my naturopath for Lyme disease that had herbs in them. But I just wasn't sure how to untangle and understand what each herb did, enough to feel like I could create this stuff myself. And so before I ever took a course, the approach I took was I chose one herb a month. And I focused on that one herb. And so for a whole month, I focused on basil. And I studied everything I could find about basil. I mean, we did the biggest deep dive. I made all the basil preparations. We made basil vinegar, basil salt, basil oil, basil tea. I even tried a basil salve. That was really, really interesting. And it was good for, it would keep the bugs away, like the scent of basil. I think a bug spray with basil in it could be potentially really, really powerful. But anyway, all that to say, that's how you find things like that out, is you focus on one herb and you just play with it and you study it and you use it and you get to know it. And even growing things from seed, even if it's something you can forage. For instance, goldenrod is a really important herb that I keep in my apothecary. Goldenrod is really effective for kidney stones, but it's also really good for fall allergies, especially for ragweed allergies, which I struggle with terribly. So we always forage for tons and tons of goldenrod. But to help me know goldenrod and recognize it in all stages of its life, I am growing goldenrod from seed this year, so I can learn to recognize it as a baby plant, so when I go forage, I can identify it even if it's not blooming yet. So you can do this with, as you study an herb, grab some seeds for that herb and go ahead and plant them. Even if it's not the right time of year and you're growing them in your windowsill in the kitchen, the point of it is for you to watch how long does it take for this herb to germinate or sprout. You know, how long does it take for this herb to really grow to a full size enough to move into my garden? And then a lot of herbs you can continue to grow indoors in a windowsill or a sunroom, or if you have a porch, kind of like this one. I grow a lot of herbs out here on my porch in pots. You don't even have to have a big yard or a big garden to grow a lot of herbs. So keep that in mind and just study one at a time so it's not overwhelming. One herb at a time. Another common question was, how do we get in touch with you? So I want you to have my email address just in case you ever have a question or you need to, get in touch about an order or something. It's gracewalkfarm@gmail.com. There's a lot of confusion about this because when you order through our shop, you're going to get like an order confirmation. And if you reply to that, it actually goes to Shopify. It doesn't come to me. So we never see those emails. And then people tend to get frustrated and they're like, I've been emailing you. Babe, I promise I'm not ignoring you. If I'm not responding, it's because we're not receiving your email. So gracewalkfarm@gmail.com, and I promise we will get back with you. Now, we get a lot of emails, so I need you to be patient. It may take a little bit, but if you email at gracewalkfarm@gmail.com, we'll get it back to you as soon as we can. Okay, one more question, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. This question was fun. Someone asked, what blends do you plan to release in the future? So I kind of release them as we go, but I want you to know what's coming. The next one that I will be rolling out here in 2 weeks is called Balanced Belly Tea. And it is a blend that I've been working on for a few months, and I keep adjusting it and changing things, but I think I've almost got it perfect. So I'm going to test it for another week or so, and then I will post the recipe for Balanced Belly Tea. That's the next one coming up, all about digestion and support for your stomach, something that I am in the middle of dealing with for myself. So I'll be sharing all of that with you soon. That one's coming. I also have an anxiety tea blend that I'm going to put out this summer. That one includes pineapple sage, which is an herb that we only are able to harvest for a very brief time of the year. And it's not an herb that we can source from other farms organically. I mean, we have looked and nobody grows it in the volume we need it. So we are growing a ton of it this year, but we are kind of waiting on it to be ready to harvest. And then I'm going to introduce you to pineapple sage, which is an incredible herb if you deal with true anxiety disorder, PTSD, panic. We're going to dive into some mental health things this summer, and I'm going to talk to you about the herbs that I've used. And there's more of my story I haven't shared with you guys too about why I struggle with anxiety and why mental health is a part of my story. And that's all part of my testimony, and I'm going to continue to share those things with you as we go. It's a lot. I can't tell it all to you in one video, y'all. So stick with me. Thank you for being here. Thank you again for subscribing and the silver play. Like, I can't get over 100,000 of you. Like, what? I appreciate you. Thank you for being my friend and watching my YouTube show. And I promise the best is yet to come. God bless you guys.